Nakikita mo pa rin dito yung mga kultura at the origin of the people.
Umaasa ako na ang aming pagkukulay ay daan patungo sa mas magandang buhay sa naming mga itnog.
Sana itong mga trabaho namin, itong agham, maipagpapatuloy ninyong mga kabataan.
Ang kulay ay agham. Actually, itong project natin na ito is a community-based project headed by Luis Agaid Jr. at saka si Normand Mina. Pinsan ito kasi yung tatay at nanay nila, magkapatid, na silang nagpasimuno yung paggagawa ng natural dyeing at sa loom weaving dito sa Abra po.
Ako po si Luis Agaid Jr., presidente po ng Marabar Indigo Natural Dye Producers Cooperative dito sa aming village na Marabar, Piñarubiaba po. Nung sinauna kasi yung technology naming mga itnag, yung mga gawa naming itnag ay hindi halos pare-pareho ng mga kulay. Pero nung dumating ang DOST PTRI Manila at saka DOST Abra, ay gumanda po yung aming pagkukulay at paggawa ng kulay dahil sa kanilang teknolohiya na tinulong sa amin. Kaya laking pasalamat namin at ngayon ay maganda na po yung kalalabasan ng aming mga gawain.
Unang-una, during the time of the centennial celebration, DOST is involved through PTRI, yung Philippine Textile Research Institute. After yung centennial celebration, nung nakita nila na yung the impact of itong project na ito in the international, to our domestic and international market, maraming foreigners na pumupunta dito asking how they did the different design and then dyeing process.
Yung PTRI DOST ay tumulong sa amin ng 442,000 na yung unang equipment na tumulong sa amin, at yung DOST Abra na pinamumunuan ni Mr. Minandro Benape ay nagbigay din ng 280,000 para doon sa volume na for commercialization na aming paggawa ng kulay doon sa tulong doon sa aming mas magandang buhay sa aming tribo. Gumanda yung mga pagkukulay namin, umikli at napadali yung daan namin sa pagkukulay. Ano pa may mahan, di ba lang? Ano na kulor si di ba mo? Ito po yung binigay po ng DOST na 280,000 sa amin. At ito po yung napakalaking tulong dito sa aming kooperatiba dahil ang nagagawa po nito ay volume na yarn ang nakukulayan po nito, at nakakagawa po ito ng 3 to 4 kilos powder na indigo na kulay po, sir.
Ang kulay ay malaya, sumasanib sa isang diwa. Ako si Norma Agaidnina na taga Namarabar, Peñarubia, Abra. Ang mga minana ko sa aking mga magulang at mga ninuno ay ang paghahabi, pagkukulay at pagbuborda. Sa pagkukulay namin ay makikita mo ang pagsasanib ng sining at agham. Ang aming trabaho at na pagkukulay at paghahabi ay maipapakita namin ang pagsasanib ng aming diwa sa aming mga kultura.
So yung recent application now expanded to sa arts, yung mga ginagawa ng yung artist ni John. So nakikita doon, so the beginning of the Tingyan life, and then ngayon the evolution of the customary activities of the people. Nakikita doon. From simple pot dyeing noon, now it is being commercialized as a business, and not only for dito sa textile but also to foods, and then sa arts na ang recent one.
Ang bawat kulay ay parang isang kaluluwa yan na dapat nating pakinggan para alam natin kung saan nating gagamitin sa ating pagpipinta para mas maganda ang ikakalabas ng ating mga ginagawa. Ako si Evelyn Borton Danggilit, isang artist dito sa Abra. Ako ay 40 years old na. Sa pamamagitan ng natural dye, dito ko maipapaliwanag ang aking sarili sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ko sa mga ito, sa mga sining ko. At malaki ang kanilang tulong sa pagpapakita kung sino man ako sa aking buhay. Sa araw na to, gusto kong magpasalamat kay Manong John Luis Agaid dito sa Manarabar, Peñarubia, na kanyang pinagpatuloy ang kanilang kultura sa pamamagitan ng pagsaliksik ng iba't ibang kulay. At sa DOST naman, sa pamamagitan po ninyo ay nagpapasalamat kami, lalong-lalo na akong artist na bagong nagtuklas lamang sa ganitong natural dye. Salamat sa inyo sa iyong mga suporta na binibigay sa amin.
Ang nakakita ko dito, kasi sila naman ay hindi lang gumamit They know how to rehabilitate nature. Ibig kong sabihin, hindi ko lang na-mention yung environmental impact din na sila ay nagtatanim ng mga kahoy. So, while they are rebuilding the environment through planting of dye-source na trees and then dye-sources na shrubs, nakikita ko na lalaki ito at one of the potential business na pwedeng ipagmalaki ng probinsya ng Abra. Especially yung traditional design na nare-revive. Nakikita mo pa rin dito yung mga kultura at the origin of the people.
Umaasa ako na ang aming pagkukulay ay daan patungo sa mas magandang buhay sa naming mga itneg.
Sana itong mga trabaho na itong agham at saka maipagpapatuloy sana upang lalago ang kaalaman na ninyong mga kabataan at malayo ang mararating.
The Greater Metropolitan Manila area has a long history of natural disasters and extreme weather events. Following the calamity of Typhoon Ondoy in September 2009, which caused about 500 deaths and damage of about 41 billion pesos, the Greater Metropolitan Manila Area Risk Analysis Project was begun. Covering the 16 cities and 1 municipality of Metropolitan Manila, as well as parts of Bulacan, Cavite, and Rizal, the study looked at the hazards of flood, wind, and earthquake. The project is a collaboration between the technical agencies of the Government of Philippines, supported by the Government of Australia Aid Program and Geoscience Australia. The aim of the project has been to give a much clearer understanding of the risks from natural disasters, of where the risks are greatest, and of how the dangers can be reduced. This analysis identifies 3 main types of potential risk: flooding in the Pasig-Marikina River Basin, severe winds associated with tropical cyclones, and risks from damaging earthquakes from the West Valley Fault. Natural hazard risk analysis involves understanding the relationship between a hazard, the exposure or elements at risk, and the vulnerability of those elements. Risk can be expressed in terms of physical damage, economic loss, or the number of people killed or injured. Information was developed that first built an understanding of how people live and work in the Greater Metropolitan Manila area. The study area included the low-lying areas along Manila Bay and Laguna de Bay, the flood-prone Pasig-Marikina River Basin, the elevated areas in Rizal Province to the east, and the West Valley Fault, which passes north to south through the metropolitan area. LiDAR, light detection and ranging, was the first major set of data to be collected. An aircraft flying over the Greater Metropolitan Manila area used a special laser scanning device to measure the profile of the landform and the heights of such features as trees and buildings. From these measurements, a digital elevation model, or DEM, was constructed. The model gives us an overview of an area that is home to about 12 million people. But where do they live? Where do they work? And what makes them vulnerable to natural hazards? Using the best available data from many sources, a picture of the built environment is developed. Of building density, of population density, of the current land use, of building heights, and of the complex mixture of the age and type of buildings that are present across the metropolitan area. All of the information about the characteristics of exposure that are needed for risk analysis have been gathered and organised into a spatially enabled exposure database. To estimate the vulnerability of buildings exposed to natural hazards, engineering models for different building types were developed. Not all buildings will experience the same level of damage when they are exposed to the same level of hazard. For example, engineered reinforced concrete buildings will, on average, suffer less damage than unreinforced masonry buildings when subjected to the same level of ground shaking. Hence, vulnerability models were developed for different building types to characterise the average economic loss for each building type. Economic damage is complex. Low-cost buildings may be destroyed and be inexpensively replaced, but high-cost, well-constructed buildings may suffer minor damage that is relatively expensive to repair. All of this is reflected in datasets estimating the costs of damage. The relationship between wind and the landscape changes the impact of severe winds on the city. Winds increase in ferocity as they flow over hills, over ridges, and over high ground. Areas such as the open space of the airport, of Manila Bay, and of the riverbanks experience higher wind speeds than built-up areas. Knowing wind strength means knowing how buildings, billboards, and shanties will be affected. The areas of greatest damage can be seen in the mountainous regions in the east and along the escarpment of the West Valley Fault. The steep topography in these areas, combined with the presence of wooden and makeshift structures in the rural areas, are the reason for the high level of damage. Flood projections are calculated from known rainfall figures. Metro Manila has experienced catastrophic flood events along the Marikina Valley and the San Juan River and can expect more. The figures that have been calculated show that there is a possibility of a flood bigger than has been experienced in recent times. The results also show how damaging floodwaters can be expected to move through the city over a period of 48 hours, how high floodwaters will reach, and what the area of inundation will be. Damage is widespread in low-lying parts of the city and adjacent the main river systems. A particularly large damage hotspot occurs in the city of Marikina, where deep floodwaters combine with a high proportion of wooden and makeshift structures, which are easily damaged by flooding. As with winds and flood, the mapping of earthquake events can be related to what is known of land use, and physical and economic damage can be mapped according to where the most fragile forms of housing have been constructed. The population affected can be mapped, and so can the economic damage because of the land use and construction methods. A range of earthquake events were used as the basis for calculations. The hotspots, clearly seen following the West Valley Fault, and areas lining Manila Bay, both the expectation of strong shaking and the high concentration of easily damaged buildings explain this. Risk analysis is employed for locating the areas at risk and quantifying the risk posed by earthquake, severe wind, and flood. We can illustrate this with the example of earthquakes by combining information on the three parts to risk and plotting the quantity of risk. By comparing formal settlements, major commercial areas, and informal settlements, we can see how the measure of risk changes. The factors considered are hazard, which describes the likely intensity of an earthquake in that area; exposure, which describes the number and type of buildings that may be at risk to earthquake; and vulnerability, which indicates the expected physical damage and economic loss, which varies from high for makeshift structures to low for reinforced concrete buildings. By identifying those places at greatest risk, we can highlight areas where, for example, modifications to land development or building practices would have most value. By identifying the most at-risk areas, local government units have the opportunity to adapt their planning in new developments and identify those places which, being most at risk, will need early warning of flood danger, early intervention, and assistance. The data products that have been produced by the Greater Metropolitan Manila Area Risk Analysis are free and will be readily accessible from the Office of Civil Defence and the Philippines Geo Portal. They will be provided to each local government unit, which can update the data and build their own database for planning, designing and implementing projects, mitigation activities, and contingency planning. Flood, earthquake and severe winds will always be a threat to the Greater Metropolitan Manila area. The risk analysis tools help us to understand, prepare for and survive these hazards. Australia stands ready to support the Philippines in this effort. By jointly investing in building the resilience of communities to natural disasters, we can contribute to a safer future for all Filipinos.
Missed an episode? Want to try Pinoy recipe? Or check today's weather? Or perhaps just be amazed at events, people, and places of science, technology, and innovation. Get them all here via the DOSTv app. Just download the app and you'll see the shows anytime, anywhere. Don't be left behind. Be updated and watch DOSTv. DOSTv app. Now available on Google Play.
Magandang araw sa lahat ng viewers ng DOSTv. Tingnan natin ang magiging lagay ng panahon ngayong Friday, September 28, 2018 at sa susunod na 24 oras. Sa kasalukuyan, si Typhoon Paeng at 3 a.m. huling namataan sa layo na 695 kilometers east-northeast of Basco, Batanes. May taglay itong hangin na umaabot ng 160 kilometers per hour. Malapit sa sentro nito, pabugsong hangin naman na umabot ng 195 kilometers per hour. At sa ngayon, kumikilos ito pa northwest, mabagal po yung kilos nito. Yung isa naman pong binabantayan ng weather system na nasa labas ng Philippine Area of Responsibility, isang LPA na nasa layo na 2,915 kilometers east of Mindanao. At sa ngayon, yung may posibilidad na maging mabuo ito as tropical depression, pagpasok nito ng Philippine Area of Responsibility by Tuesday. Within 24 hours, makakaranas pa rin tayo ng magandang panahon. Fair weather, bahagyang maulap hanggang sa maulap yung mga kalangitan. And then expect na lang natin yung mga isolated rain showers, yung mga biglaang buhos ng ulan. Lalo na paghapon o gabi, dulot yan ng localized thunderstorms. Agwat ng temperatura sa Metro Manila ay mula 24 to 32 degrees Celsius. Baguio, 16 to 24 degrees Celsius. Sa Lawag ay mula 24 to 31 degrees Celsius. Tugigaraw, 24 to 32 degrees Celsius. Legazpi, 26 to 32 degrees Celsius. Tagaytay, 21 to 30 degrees Celsius. Puerto Princesa naman ay mula 24 to 32 degrees Celsius. Para naman po sa Visayas at Mindanao, makakaranas pa rin ng magandang panahon. Fair weather po inaasahan natin, and then mga isolated rain showers nga lang sa hapon o gabi. Agwat ng temperatura, sa Iloilo ay mula 26 to 32 degrees Celsius. Cebu, 25 to 32 degrees Celsius. Tacloban naman ay mula 24 to 33 degrees Celsius. Sa Zamboanga, 24 to 31 degrees Celsius. Cagayan de Oro, 23 to 34 degrees Celsius. At sa Davao naman ay mula 25 to 34 degrees Celsius. Para naman po sa kondisyon ng ating baybaying dagat, nakataas ang gale warning natin. Dito sa may northern and northern seaboard ng Northern Luzon, as well as yung eastern seaboard ng Luzon, and then dito sa may Visayas. Kaya pinapalalahanan po natin yung mga kababayan natin yung mga isda o yung may maliit na sakyang pandagat na wag po muna pumalaot sa mga areas na ito. For the next 3 days, maganda pa rin inaasahan nating panahon. Agwat ng temperatura, sa Metro Manila ay mula 24 to 32 degrees Celsius. Baguio, 16 to 24 degrees Celsius. Legazpi ay mula 26 to 32 degrees Celsius. Metro Cebu, 25 to 33 degrees Celsius. At sa Davao naman ay mula 25 to 34 degrees Celsius. Asahan nga lang natin yung mga isolated rain showers sa hapon o gabi. Asahan ito ay light to moderate at times heavy ng mga pag-ulan. Ang araw po natin ay lulubog mamayang 5:48 p.m. At yan po muna ang latest sa weather forecasting section, Ezra Bulkirin.
DOSTv would like to thank Filipino Creazione de Mano Incorporated. Visit their showroom at ground floor lobby, PSMBFI Building, 318 Santolan Road, West Crames, San Juan City. SciDev, the world's leading source of reliable and authoritative news, views, and analysis on information about science and technology for global development. Visit their website at www.scidev.net.